Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope you are doing well back at your homes. Dear students, in our previous lesson we were talking about a balanced diet. And what is diet? That is the food which we eat each day. And a balanced diet means that if that food contains all the essential nutrients and the right amount of energy in it, that is called as a balanced diet. Remember students, the food we eat, that food should have contained some almost all kind of nutrients which our body normally require. So this is all about the nutrients present in the food and the amount of energy present in the food. Dear students, that energy and that nutrients cannot be utilized by our body directly. That means the nutrients and the energy present in the food that needs these two processes to happen so that that energy and the nutrients can be utilized by our body. So before I start this digestion and absorption, first we need to know that in what organ or in what system that digestion and absorption occurs. Dear students, that occurs in the alimentary canal. And the alimentary canal is a basically tube that starts from the mouth and ends on the anus. Remember students, the food we eat, that always enters through our mouth, and the undigested food that is being passed out by our anus, and that occurs in the alimentary canal. Dear students, let's have a look, and we should try to understand that what is the role of the alimentary canal in our digestion and absorption. Dear students, foods enter through the mouth and that ultimately enters into our alimentary canal, and from the different stops of our alimentary canal. Our alimentary canal have different stops that has mouth, that has esophagus, that has stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, anus. We'll discuss it later in the next lesson. But in the alimentary canal, the food passes from the different stops, and at different stops that food is being treated differently, so that that food can be digested and can be absorbed in our body. I hope you have understood this thing, and let's come to our main topic, that is digestion and absorption. Dear students, let's start with the definition of digestion. Digestion is basically the breakdown of the large food molecules into small food molecules. Dear students, whenever we eat the food, as we break down it with our hand, and we enter that food into our mouth, and with the help of teeth, we chew it, and ultimately what we are doing digestion of the food, and that is called as physical digestion, because the food is broken down physically, mechanically, with the help of teeth. Coming back to the definition of the digestion is the breakdown of the large food molecules into smaller, simple, diffusible molecules, so that that molecules can be diffused in our body, and our body can use the nutrients present in that food, and our body can use the energy that is present in that food. So what is digestion? It is the breakdown of the large food particles into small diffusible molecules. Digestion is of two types, the physical digestion and the chemical digestion. That means if the food molecules are broken down mechanically with the help of our hand or the teeth, that is called as physical digestion. And if some chemicals involved in it to break down it, that is called as chemical digestion. About the chemical digestion, we will learn in our next lessons. And what happens then if the food is digested? Okay, we have eaten the food and that food is being digested, and the digested food contains all the essential nutrients and the right of amount of energy. Okay, these nutrients need to be transported in our body. Okay, remember, the food is digested in our alimentary canal, but the nutrients are needed all over the body. My brains needs the nutrients, my muscles needs the nutrients, and this is how that is why that food, the digested food or the nutrients needs to be transported to the other parts of the body. And if the digested food, as you can see in here, if that food is digested, that is broken down into smaller pieces here, and if that digested food is absorbed in our blood, that is called as absorption. Remember students, it is blood in which these digested food particles are being absorbed, and that blood takes the nutrients and the energy to the other parts of our body. I hope you have understood the concept of absorption and the digestion. Let me recall it for you. That digestion is the breakdown of the large food molecules into the smaller one, and that smaller molecules are being absorbed into our blood so that molecules or the nutrients can be transported to the other parts of our body. Let's have an irrational example over here. If I take an apple and I took that apple on my muscles, is there any possibility that my muscles can get that protein present in that food, in that apple? No, of course no. That apple needs to be digested in my stomach, and that if after the result of digestion the proteins present in that apple, that needs to be transported with the help of the blood towards my muscle cells, so that my muscle cells can use the proteins present in that apple. I hope you have understood the concept and the idea of the digestion and absorption. In the next lesson, we are going to learn about the human digestive system. This was only an overview about the digestion and absorption. Take care of yourself and the people around you. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.